What if silence isn't weakness but a weapon? What if the real power is not in your words but in your restraint? And what if walking away is the most courageous thing you can do? These aren't just thought-provoking questions, they're truths many people overlook in the heat of the moment. In today's loud and reactive world, we're conditioned to believe that responding immediately, reacting emotionally, and defending ourselves on the spot is a sign of strength. But what if it's the exact opposite? What if real strength is staying still when everything inside you wants to erupt? Stay quiet after disrespect. At first glance, that might sound passive, weak, even. But according to the powerful wisdom of Billy Graham, that silence isn't about giving up, it's about rising above. It's not surrender, it's strategy. It's not silence out of fear, but silence born of inner peace, discipline, and control. You see, too often, silence is misunderstood. People assume that if you don't fight back, if you don't clap back with a smart retort or a fiery defense, then you've lost. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is, when you react in anger or ego, you're playing their game. And worse, you're playing it by their rules. They've pulled you in. They've gotten what they wanted. And in that moment, they win. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone lose control just to prove they're not being disrespected? Did they gain respect or lose dignity? Did they seem powerful or emotionally unstable? The one who yells the loudest isn't the strongest. The one who keeps their peace in the middle of chaos is. Because silence, when chosen with intention, is not the absence of response, it's the presence of wisdom. It's knowing you could respond, but you choose not to. And that choice, that's where your power lives. There will always be people who test your patience. People who try to provoke you not because of who you are, but because of what they lack inside themselves. Their goal isn't to find peace or resolution, it's to drag you into their chaos. They want to disrupt your clarity, your focus, your calm. Why? Because they don't have any of their own. If they can't find peace, they'll try to steal yours. But here's the secret they don't want you to know: when you stay silent, you take away their power. You remove the fuel they need to keep the fire going. You send an uncheckable message: I'm not playing your game. My energy isn't yours to manipulate. And no, that doesn't mean the disrespect didn't sting. It doesn't mean you're unaffected. Of course you feel it. You're human. But your response determines whether that pain turns into more destruction or into growth. That moment is your test. Do you fight back to prove a point? Or do you protect your peace, knowing your worth speaks louder than any argument ever could? Remember, the strongest people aren't always the ones with the sharpest comebacks. They're the ones who know what's worth their words and what isn't. Some insults are just noise. Some arguments are distractions dressed up as battles. But your energy, that's your most valuable asset. Every second you spend defending yourself to someone who already decided to misunderstand you is a second you'll never get back. So next time you feel that familiar heat rise, the urge to snap, to defend, to strike back, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Does their opinion change my value? Is their voice louder than my peace? If the answer is no, then let it go. Walk away. And walk away knowing this: your silence said everything that needed to be said. Because here's the truth many never realize until it's too late: disrespect is a trap. And the moment you take the bait, you give away something far more precious than words. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to get pulled in, to feel like you have to defend yourself, to want to prove your worth to someone who never valued it in the first place. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When you engage with someone who only wants to tear you down, you're not just wasting time, you're draining your most valuable resource, your energy. And that's exactly what some people are after. They don't want to build. They don't want peace. They don't even want resolution. All they want is to bring you down to their level. But you have something they don't envision. You've got dreams to chase, goals to pursue, a peace to protect. And when you allow yourself to react to every jab, every insult, every petty act of disrespect, you bleed energy that could have been poured into something greater. Something that actually matters. Think about it. How often do you find yourself emotionally exhausted, not from pursuing your goals but from dealing with someone else's negativity? It's not your work that's draining you. It's their chaos, and the fact that you gave it space in your mind. Some people thrive on conflict. It feeds them. They stir tension like oxygen to a flame and then stand back and watch the damage unfold. The more they can shake you, the more powerful they feel. But when you refuse to give them a reaction, when you stay grounded and silent, they're left with nothing. That silence, that's your shield, and it's made of discipline. It doesn't mean you're numb. It doesn't mean you didn't feel the sting of their words. What it means is you chose to rise above it. You chose to guard your energy. Because your silence says more than any outburst ever could. Let's be honest, yes, speaking up might feel satisfying in the moment. Telling someone off might feel like victory, but what does it really change? Does it win you respect, or does it just escalate the drama? More often than not, it pours gasoline on the fire. More ammunition, more reasons for them to keep going. And meanwhile you're left burned out. But when you stay quiet, when you let your character speak louder than your voice, when your life becomes the evidence, you remove every weapon they tried to use against you. Eventually, they stop, because people only keep poking at what reacts. When you give them silence in return, they lose their power. Still, some will say, but I have to defend myself. I can't let them talk to me like that. Listen carefully. Self-respect doesn't always look like confrontation. In fact, sometimes the highest form of self-respect is walking away. Not every insult deserves your words. Not every battle deserves your presence. Not every fight is yours to fight. The next time you feel the sting of disrespect, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Is this moment worth my peace? If the answer is no, then let it go. Protect your mind, guard your spirit, shield your focus. Because not everything deserves your reaction. Yes, they'll talk. They'll throw words at you. They'll try to pull you into the chaos, and in that moment, the temptation to strike back will rise fast. But remember, words are cheap. Anyone can talk. Anyone can shout. But not everyone can walk away with dignity and power still intact. Because real proof doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how you live. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them assume. But your life, that will make the truth undeniable. And that, right there, leads us to the most powerful part of all. When you shift your focus from noise to purpose, something powerful happens. Your life begins to speak for itself. Your progress, your growth, your consistency, they become the loudest response you'll ever give. Because the truth is, those who spend their time arguing, explaining, and defending themselves to people who don't matter, they stay stuck, trapped in a cycle of distraction, negativity, and unending drama. But those who learn to stay quiet, those who keep their heads down, keep building, and keep moving forward, they rise. They separate themselves from the noise, and by the time the doubters even notice, it's already too late. They're too far ahead to be caught. You see, silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly where they're going and refuses to let detours of drama slow them down. Some people will bait you into battles that were never yours to fight. They'll provoke you, hoping to drag you down into the chaos they've built for themselves. But when you stay focused, when you stay in your lane, something incredible happens. You don't just win the argument. You erase it entirely. Why? Because success silences everything. You're too busy growing, too busy leveling up, to focus on becoming who you were born to be, to stop and throw words into the wind. Think about the great ones, the people who truly made an impact. They didn't waste time responding to every critic, every hater, every doubt that came their way. No, they let their work do the talking. They let their results be the reply. And that's the model to follow. Don't waste time proving small minds wrong. Just be great. Let your life be the answer they can't ignore. People will try to bring you down. They'll say you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. But when they see that nothing moves you, that their words don't shake you, that their judgment doesn't reach you, they fall silent. Because few things are more confusing or humbling than someone who refuses to be affected. That's when everything shifts. That's when the people who once doubted you start to watch you. That's when your silence, backed by action, speaks louder than 1,000 explanations ever could. So yes, stay quiet, not to let things slide, but to let your success speak. Let them talk while you rise. Let them mock while you build. Because in the end, it won't be your words that prove them wrong, it'll be the life you've created. Disrespect often feels personal. A cruel comment, a dismissive gesture, a subtle insult hits like a sting. Our pride wants to rise up. Our emotions want justice. We want to correct them, to make them see the truth. But here's what you must remember: disrespect is rarely about you. It's a reflection of the person giving it, a window into their brokenness, their insecurity, their pain. People filled with bitterness will spread bitterness. People drowning in their own shame will throw it at others. It's not about you, it never was. And when you take it personally, when you carry that weight, you make their wounds your responsibility. You turn their darkness into your burden. And that's exactly what they want. But you don't owe them your energy. You don't owe them your peace. That's why silence is so powerful. It says, I see what you're doing, but I won't participate in it. It says, your words are loud, but they carry no weight here. It tells the world, without ever saying a thing, you don't get to write my story. Some people aren't looking for truth. They're looking for a reaction. They want control. But when you stay grounded, when you withhold what they crave most, you leave them with nothing but their own reflection. And that's what they fear the most. So stop chasing validation. Stop explaining yourself to people who aren't even listening. You don't need to prove your worth to those who are too broken to recognize it. Walk away not out of defeat, but out of wisdom. Because your path is bigger than their approval. Your purpose is greater than their pettiness. Not everyone will respect you. Not everyone will understand you. But that's okay because their opinion has no power over your destiny. The next time someone disrespects you, pause and remember. This isn't about me. This is about them. And I don't have to carry what was never mine to begin with. So stay calm, stay focused, stay true to who you are. Let them deal with the weight of their own words ... because you've got higher places to go. And that moment when your peace remains untouched while others try to shake you, that's when your silence becomes something more. Something stronger, something undeniable. There's a moment, a single breath right after someone disrespects you. It's quick, almost invisible. Your emotions rise. Your pride stands at full attention. Your mind screams, say something. And that moment, that's the crossroads. One path leads to reaction, the other, to restraint. Most people take the first without thinking. They believe that fighting back means they've stood their ground. That if they say something sharp enough, loud enough, strong enough, they'll win. But the truth is, when you react from emotion, you're not showing strength, you're surrendering control. Because here's what no one tells you, real dignity isn't loud. It's not found in clapbacks or raised voices. It's found in the calm decision to walk away, not because you can't fight, but because the fight isn't worth it. There will always be people who try to pull you into their darkness. They'll test your patience, push your buttons, say the things they know will cut deep. And the moment you bite back, you've already lost because now you're playing their game, not yours. But silence is strength. It's pause. It's knowing exactly who you are and refusing to let someone else rewrite your character. When someone tries to provoke you, and you look them in the eye, not with fire, not with fury, but with stillness, it sends a message louder than any insult ever could. You don't control me. You don't even move me. And that's what most people will never understand. They confuse silence with fear, stillness with weakness. But lions don't roar to prove they're lions. The loudest one in the room isn't the strongest, it's usually the one trying the hardest to be seen. True confidence doesn't chase attention. It doesn't need to explain itself. It just is. And real strength, it's measured in how well you can stay standing when others are trying to knock you down. It's in walking away not because you couldn't say something but because you knew you didn't need to. Some people insult just to bait you into stepping out of character. They'll throw words like stones, hoping one of them sticks, and when you react, they win. But when you hold your peace, when you give them nothing, you take it all back. You take back your power. You take back your story, and the beauty of that. When you walk away with your dignity intact, when you protect your peace instead of proving your point, you stay in control. You're not remembered for lashing out. You're remembered for composure, for discipline, for quiet strength. So the next time someone throws shade your way, don't view silence as surrender. See it for what it truly is: elevation. You're not walking away in weakness, you're walking above the noise. You're showing that your identity isn't shaken by temporary disrespect. Because in the end, you didn't sink to their level. You rose above it, and that is what real victory looks like. There's something incredibly powerful about knowing who you are so deeply that no one else's opinion can shake it. That's what true confidence looks like, not loud, not defensive, but anchored. When you know your worth, you don't need to prove it in arguments. You don't have to clap back at every insult or respond to every critic. So the next time you're disrespected, don't think of your silence as backing down. Think of it as rising above. Think of it as standing so tall in your own sense of self that small words can't reach you. You're not walking away in weakness. You're walking away with your dignity. You're refusing to give someone else the authority to pull you down into a fight that was never worthy of your presence. And in that choice, you win every time. There's a quiet power in patience, in letting time do what your words never could. Yes, the first instinct is to react, to clear your name, to demand an apology, to force someone to see your side. But here's the truth most people never realize. Those who disrespect you rarely care about understanding. They're not operating from truth. They're acting out of ego, insecurity, and a desperate attempt to feel big by making you feel small. And when you step into that chaos, when you meet them on their level, you lose more than your peace. You lose control, because now you're playing their game. And in that game, no one wins. The strongest response is often no response at all. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you understand something deeper. Time always tells the truth. Reality will reveal what words never can. Nothing silences a critic like being proven wrong by life itself. And nothing is more humbling than watching the one you doubted rise higher than you ever imagined. You don't have to waste your energy defending every insult. You don't have to spend your life explaining who you are. Let life do the talking. Let your results become your response. When you stay quiet, you unsettle the people who tried to shake you. They expected you to argue. They expected to see anger, to spark a confrontation, to feel powerful in your reaction. But when you give them nothing, when you give them silence, they're left alone with their own words. They begin to hear themselves without distraction. And in that stillness, they feel the weight of what they said. Without you ever needing to carry it, silence isn't about letting things slide. It's about understanding that not everything needs your hands to be handled. Because time exposes, time humbles, time reveals truth. And more often than not, the very people who once disrespected you end up walking through the same fire they tried to burn you with. But that's not your battle. That's not your burden. You don't need revenge. You don't need karma to do your bidding. All you need to do is keep moving forward. Eyes up. Focus clear. Let your peace, your growth, and your consistency be the only reply you give. People will talk. They'll judge. They'll throw stones and expect you to break. But what they can't do is stop what's meant for you. They can't cancel your calling. They can't undo the grace and favor already written into your story. And the very things they said you'd never accomplish, guess what? You're already on your way to achieving them. So stay quiet, not because you're afraid, not because you're weak, but because deep down, you already know. There will come a time when everything that once hurt you no longer has a voice in your life. A time when the people who disrespected you can no longer reach you, not because they've changed, but because you have. You've outgrown the chaos. You've risen above the noise. And now, you're walking in peace they can't disturb, in purpose they can't delay, in strength they never saw coming. Because the greatest victory isn't winning an argument. It's not proving someone wrong with words. It's not watching them take back what they said. The real victory is when you no longer need their approval to feel whole, when your value is no longer up for debate, when your identity is rooted in something so deep that not even disrespect can uproot it. And maybe that's the final lesson here. Your silence was never about being passive. It was protective. It was intentional. It was proof that you understood something they didn't. That your energy, your time, your peace are sacred. And you don't give sacred things away to people who only seek to break them. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them try to measure you with their shallow metrics. But know this, you are not defined by what others say about you. You are defined by what you build, what you endure, and who you become in the process. And if there's one thing you carry from this moment forward, let it be this. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to fix how others see you. You only have to protect your peace, move in purpose, and trust that time will speak for you. Because time will. It always does. And when it does, your silence will echo louder than their shouting ever could. So walk forward now, not with bitterness, but with clarity, not with vengeance, but with vision, and not with the need to prove anything, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly where they're going. Because when you stay quiet after disrespect, you don't lose the fight. You choose not to fight battles that aren't worth your breath. You rise, you heal, you win, and most of all, you remain unshaken. Stay silent, stay strong, stay rising, because your life will always speak louder than your words.